Hey guys, welcome back to Lindasresinroom. So, you're probably wondering what's this crazy lady going to do today. I bought this table. It's a little serving table. It does have a little hole right here, which I'm going to plug up with some hot glue before I pour resin in here. Just to make sure that I don't pour enough resin that it's going to flow out through that. I have wiped this off already, but I just want to make sure I don't have anything down in there. It's not really going to matter for what I want to do. I've seen this on Instagram. Don't remember. It's just one of those posts that you see as you're kind of scrolling by. I think it was Instagram. Could have been TikTok. And I was like, I want to try that. So I got this table. And I have my sand from the beach. And I'm spilling it everywhere. I'm just going to scatter some sand out everywhere. I'm going to take some of my rocks that I have. I have different ones. I've got these I got the other day. I thought it was really pretty. And I have some little ones. And I'm just going to scatter them out more so on one side than the other. They're going to kind of thin out with just a little here and there over there. I'm going to place some shells. And I've got all different kinds of shells here. Let's see. Those are some more rocks that I bought. I think these came from Laura's Art Corner. And I know these came from Laura's Art Corner. These came from Dollar General. And these came from Amazon. Shells. Got these at the Dollar Tree quite some time back. So I thought we might use a few of those. These I got from Laura's Art Corner. I thought some of those would be really pretty in there. I have my shark's teeth that I got while I was on vacation in Panama City once. And some mixed shells and a little starfish. These came from the same place in Panama City when I was on vacation. I have a couple of these. I have no clue where those came from. I have these. Amazon maybe? Nope. Dollar Tree. So, Dollar Tree's where those came from. And I have all these little tiny craft shells. And I have some little starfish that I thought we would just layer out. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put the sand in. Woo! I'm throwing this stuff everywhere. And they just kind of scattered it out a little bit before they did the resin. This does have shell pieces in it and a stick. I did get this when I was on vacation from the beach. Okay. Trying to keep this from going everywhere. Let's just get it off the bag. Throw that one in the trash. Alright. Now let me get some more sand here. I do want it to cover the bottom. I don't want it to be very thick, but I want it enough to where it looks like the whole bottom is sand. Okay. Uh-oh. There's a crystal from something. Move that out of the way. I'm not a good lefty, am I? And I'm putting a liberal amount in here. Because like I said, I don't want to be able to see through it. But I am going to cover it with resin. I'm hoping that there's another one of those crystals. Where did those come from? Another one. Okay. Whatever. Alright. Now let me just... Really don't want handprints in there. You know what? I know what I could use. I'll use a makeup brush. Will that work? Nope. I'm still just making more of a mess. Can't do that. Alright, let's put a little more sand for us to read it up. You know what? Maybe if I get it and kind of... There we go. Now I've got it all this way. Now I've got it all that way. Well, shoot. Maybe I didn't put enough. Well, I'll get it eventually. I hope I have enough sand now. I'd hate to have to empty it out and redo it. It's hard to tell where it's white. And I bought this table because I was originally planning on doing a beach, ocean waves kind of thing. But I don't want to do that now. After seeing this, the way they did it, it was so pretty. I wish I had wrote down who did this and where I seen it. Okay, I think we're good. Now, we put sand up, about out of it. I do have some shells that I found on the beach too, that I thought some of these bigger ones would be, that's too big, would be really cute, but I don't know if they're too deep to cover completely over. But some of the smaller ones will be. And I love the pieces of shells. Little tiny ones, but just some different colors to bring to it. All right, now let's put our rocks in. Now, I know they had most of theirs in one area, and I don't know if they just scattered them or how they did it. I hope I have enough. Well, I thought this would be really pretty if I can get mine to work out like they did theirs. Would be awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to. Some of these are quite large. I don't know if I'll be able to cover. If I go all the way to the top, I can cover it over. Okay, you know what? I think we'll probably have to move some of these because I don't want all the same colors together. That one just, some of these, like I said, they just seem like they're quite large. I want the flatter ones. And then we do want some to be kind of scattered out. Put one of those dark ones out there too. Oh, that one looks really big. Ooh, that one's huge. Okay, these are quite large. I'm not sure about those. Okay. Oh, I forgot. I have my colored ones I was wanting to use, a few of these. I thought these would add some really pretty color. The little pink. I have a feeling I'm putting too many out through there. There we go. Okay. That one just looks too big too. I mean, some of these are just massive. I'm going to take some of those out. That one I think's okay. Move this over here. Okay. Now, I'm going to take these small ones. I do want, like I said, a few of these little green ones coming out through there. Now, these are lava rocks, I think is what they called them. And we're just going to scatter these kind of out like this. Throw a few out through there. Okay. And we're going to use some of these yellowy looking ones. Dropping them everywhere. Reminds me of my pearl incident. Okay. Now we've got all of our larger rocks and smaller rocks. So let's start putting in some shells. I'm going to take some of these small ones. And this is just a mixture of little small ones. I thought they would look pretty. They didn't do this in the rocks, but I thought they would look pretty like that. Ooh, those are all stuck together. Push them apart. Okay. Now, let's see. I definitely wanted to use this bigger starfish here. I definitely want him to be seen. So I don't want him under the sand. I want him right on top. And there's some really pretty little shells in here. That's kind of big. I do like the little snail shell. And that one's really pretty. Ooh, look at that one. Isn't that pretty? Okay. Take these little starfish here. Might as well finish using these little tiny ones, right? And there's my husband. Hey, babe, you have to see this. This is going to be pretty. My table. Okay. Now let's put some of these little tiny starfish. These are little bitty ones. So they're really cute. Try to get some down between the rocks. Oh, that one's broken. Like I said, some of them are broken. Get him there. Okay. There we go. Now, if I can get all these open, just going to throw a couple of them in there. These kind of look, there's a small one down in there. Ooh. There we go. That'll be pretty there. Okay. And these colored would be really pretty, I think. Throw one out there. want to use a little bit of everything. That one's pretty. Put him over there. Maybe we'll put one out here. I love these little green ones. Now these have some really pretty purple color. I can get them open. There's a big one down in the bottom, a couple of them, that I'd really like to. Now what I'm worried about is I'm going to kind of prop these up just a little bit because I'd really like to get the resin under them. I don't want to have holes. Now I'm going to dump these out because those long ones are really pretty if I can get to them. They always put them in the bottom, don't they? Look at that. Is that not a beautiful shell? But I don't know if he's going to be too tall. I think he'll be okay. Okay. I'm probably putting a lot more stuff than what they did. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Okay, let's see. I really like that. Put that one out there. Now let's get a couple of these. And I'll put one there. All right, guys. One more shark's teeth. We don't want to forget those. There's some stuck together. Pop them apart. All right. That's a pretty shark's tooth. Oh, that's a pretty one. And I'm going to put one more right out there. All right, guys. I'm going to mix up some resin. And, gosh, that rock looks awfully big, too. I think it'll be okay. Let's see. I want to cover these places over that sand is showing. So I don't want to be able to see the sand. So I'm just trying to, I think I'll pour on top of a rock to try not to mess my sand up. All right, guys, I'm going to clean this up before I scatter these everywhere. I see my camera has moved. All right, I'm going to clean all of this up, get some resin mixed up because we're going to need a lot. Seal this hole, and we'll be back. I'll see you shortly. Okay, guys, so I have my resin mixed up. I think I've scooted this down. Let me scoot that back up on my table, fix my camera. There we go. So what I did is I've got a piece of tape, and I'm just going to put a piece of tape over this and hope that sticks and doesn't cause it to leak out. And I think it will. I think it'll be okay. If I do start to leak, then I'll fix it. Now, I want this colored, but I want just a smidgen of color. I don't want a lot. So, just had a boxed ball. I've got this Ocean fluid alcohol ink from Octopus Fluids. But I'm going to put, this is deep pour. 200 part B, 400 part A, because it is a 2-to-1. 1, 2, 3. Let's see what 3 drops is going to do. I haven't mixed this yet because I want to put the color in first. I just want a hint of color. I don't want it a lot because I know I'm going to have to mix this up multiple times. And that looks pretty good. Like I said, I just want a hint of color in this. I don't want a lot of color. I've still got some on the side here. I'm trying to get it to all mix up so I can see the color. I want to be able to see through it and see this. Okay. I think I'm going to put 2 more drops. That'll be a total of 5. But I'm probably not going to do much more than that. This is a lot, and it's really not going to be this dark when I pour it in. I'm going to add one more. I'm going to add one more just because, let me tell you what my reasoning is. If I put 1 drop of color per every 100 milliliters, then I can get my color the same when I pour the next bit. Because I'm going to try to pour every bit of this because I am using the deep pour, and I can go up to 4 inches on this deep pour. The problem is I can't put it in my debubbler because it does not do very well. It just creates more and more bubbles. I had 100 milliliter in her, no, not 100 milliliter. It wasn't even that much. It was like an ounce, 30 gram, 30 milliliter in an 8-ounce cup, and it still wanted to bubble over. So we're not going there today. I am going to get this mixed up, and I will be back when it's time to pour. I'll see you then. All right, guys. So got my resin mixed, and I actually mixed a second cup. Same thing. 200 part B, 400 part A, 6 drops of the ink. The deep pour I'm using is this Bonastella deep pour resin I've had for a while. Part A, part B, 2-to-1 that I got off of Amazon. There's a lot of micro bubbles in this. I'm hoping it degasses very well. Otherwise, it's going to look bad. But, you know, just going to hope that I can pour this down through here and not create any extra bubbles or displace my sand. I'm going to pour the first one. I did just put a piece of tape over the hole. I didn't use the heat gun. I'm hoping the tape holds. I'm just pouring the resin over the rocks and let it kind of move. I can see some of the shells trying to float. Now it is up next to my hole over here. So I'm just going to check and make sure that that does not start to leak. Sometimes you think things aren't going to leak and it's going to do good. Then you come back and everything's leaked everywhere. I did a mold like that. Ended up going through like 1,700 grams of silicone because of it. Doesn't really look like it's scattering out, does it? Sometimes if you can pour on the stick, it will keep the bubbles down. And I hope this is enough resin, but I can mix up more if I need to. little place. I see the table. Quite a few little places in there. I may take some more sand and sprinkle out on some of those places. Maybe if I do it this way, it won't be as bad. Seems to be doing much better as far as not displacing the sand. Okay, I'll scrape this cup in a minute. I'm going to move on to my next one. Just pop some of these bubbles that's on the top. No point in adding those when you don't have to, right? It's better control if I can keep it on the stick. There we go. Now let's give that a few minutes and let's get some sand in there. Oh, where did I put my sand? Well, in front of my nose, of course. Put my bag open here. Hopefully this will sink. Usually sand will sink to the bottom. May cover over the shells a little bit, but yeah, just look realistic, right? Sorry guys if my arm is in the way. I hope I'm not messing this up doing this. I think that's all I'm going to do, just in case. Alright, I need a dotting tool. I'm not wearing the best shirt to do this. I should have changed my shirt before I started out. I wasn't thinking. Alright, got this little tiny dotting tool because I see a bubble. Where'd it go? Right there. I just want to pluck that bubble out. I'm just going to stir this around and try to get that sand to kind of sink down in there. Maybe I can get it to flatten out some. Or maybe I should have just did thicker layer. I'm just trying to mix it up. It usually sinks. Starfish is trying to float. Push those back down. I don't want anything floating. I want it all to stay down. Get down, little starfish. I'm going to stay down. A few of the little shells are trying to float too, and I think it's just because they're getting bubbles. So we got to work on those to get the resin to go down in there. Pluck that bubble out of that one. There we go. And there's a bubble. Couple there. I think I needed more blue. I think with the rest of this I might add some more blue. Or green, whatever color you want to call it. That's very light. Okay, let's see, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. 12, it's got to be even. 12, and I've got 400 milliliter. And we will just, hopefully, this will mix up well with it. More like a green, isn't it, than a blue. Okay. I'm just going to pour this out and hopefully it will all mix. If I can get it evenly distributed, then when it cures, all the color will mix together. And I'm still going to need more color's not mixed. I like that color much better. I'm going to try to scrape all this one out. Get down, little starfish. They're all trying to float away. Put you down there too. Alright. Let's go around this cup one time. I think we've about got it. Okay. Now, I'm going to turn this one upside down. And I'm going to clean this stick off. Clean my hands off. Okay. Now, where's my other cup? Let's scrape this one. Get all this out. Alright guys, I am going to mix up some more resin. I think we're going to need check my hole. I'm holding up, it seems. Clean this stick off. Let me clean my hands before I put you guys on pause before I mix up some more resin. It looks really good. I hope all that sand over there, though, kind of drops. Now, I'll have a big torch somewhere. Like a big one. There he is. This sucker's huge. Because this is not a mold. Okay. Alright, guys. Put you on a brief pause. I am going to mix up. Let's see. I don't need that much more. I think I'm going to mix up about 400. Because I just want to finish covering the rocks. This seems like it's down farther than up there. So I need to prop this up just a little bit. Alright, I'm going to see if that will level it out. And I'm going to mix up 400 more ounces. And I'll be right back. Alright guys, I was going to mix up 400 ounces. Wasn't paying attention and went ahead and poured in 200 of part B. So I ended up having to make 600. I'm not sure this is going to hold it or not. But we will see. I've tried to level it the best I can. So let's, and I don't know how many drops I put in here. I just squeezed before I even realized how many drops it was. They came out so fast I couldn't count them all. Alright. So let's pour this in. Get back. Get you back here. And get you back here. You're not going anywhere. You are up here, dude, to stay. Some of those little ones, they just want to float away. It's just getting the air out of them and getting the resin to go down into them, I think, is the issue. Now, the little starfish, on the other hand, I think they just don't weigh them enough. So I do not want my shells floating. I want them on the bottom. Maybe I should have done one layer to hold everything down. And then one back through and finished. But didn't. Get back there. Get your little butt down in there. Get your little butt down in there. Do I need to put you under the rock to hold you down? I'm going to be talking to it. Lord help me. Okay. So far my tape's holding. Pour in a little more. And it may need all this. I really don't know. I bet it will. I bet it'll hold every bit of it. Just going to move that. And I'm going to get my little dotting tool and try to push some of these down that are trying to float. Maybe if I can pluck the bubble out, it will help them to get the resin down in there. Come on. This is the good thing about deep pour. You have a really long time to work with it. It's probably a spam call. I get more spam calls than anything. Nobody else really calls me. Get back down there, little dude. Maybe the little shells weren't such a good idea. Resin just can't seem to get down in there. Where are you floating off to? I'm going to put you under a rock too. Hold you down. Wow, they're floating everywhere. If they keep floating and I can't get them to stay down, I'm going to have to take them out. Alright guys, I'm just going to go ahead and continue working with this for the rest of the resin in, and we will come back when it is completely done. So I'll see you guys then. Alright guys, so that has cured up pretty good, but I see a few of the little rocks are still sticking out a little bit. So I have mixed up 350 more milliliter of deep pour resin to put on top of this. You could have used something other than deep pour because it's just going to be a very thin layer, but I figured I've already used deep pour. I've got my deep pour out, so I'm just going to stick with it. And it degasses very well. So I don't know if I'll need all this, because like I said, I just need a very thin layer. But this is a big table, so I think it'll be able to hold it. I'm going to put it all on there anyways. And you can see I had a starfish here float up, and I have one over there that floated up. I just couldn't stay up here all night to make sure everything stayed down. I stayed for quite a few hours, maybe 4 hours working on this. But I had to work this morning. And I just mixed the resin up. I think I put about 20 drops of the color in the resin. I figured that would be plenty. I do like the color that it's came out. It was exactly what I wanted. Okay, let that drip off. Alright, I'm going to turn this cup upside down and let that drain. Now let's see if we can spread this to the edge. I think the layer below it is cured enough that my stick's not going to mess with it. And we'll just get this all spreaded out. Yeah, just place the order, babe. But I think that's going to be plenty of resin to cover this whole thing. But I do want it up next to the side, all the way around. And my tape held the little hole closed, so that is great. All right, let me get that cup to scrape the stick off now. And let that drip. This is a really thin resin. There we go. Now I'll turn my cup back upside down and clean this stick off. All right. Now you can see all those bubbles. I'm just going to take my little heat gun here. My husband's trying to fill my big one up. It kind of went empty on me. And I'm just going to pop some of these bubbles where this is so thin. They're popping really easy. But they'll pop on their own too with this resin. When I first used it, didn't care much for it because of all the bubbles. But it degasses very well. And if I get a few bubbles in this piece, I'm okay with that because it is water. There's always bubbles underwater at some. So, not a problem. I do have a little bubble down inside there. It looks like it's coming up from the rocks, which I think is cute. And I have one over here, it looks. And I'm okay with those. I have a hair in there I got to get out. Come on. Alright. I got that out. Alright guys, that is it. We will let this cure up. I'm going to cover it over. First I need to put this ink back up on the wall where it goes. And I'll keep checking on it to make sure that all the bubbles have popped periodically. Because this is going to take a while to cure. But let's get it covered. Where's my little... These are just little picnic nets to cover your food. You just pull it and it opens right up. They were very cheap. Got them off of Amazon. But it is the perfect size to set right over top of this. And I don't have to worry about bugs getting in there. I don't have to worry about dirt and stuff getting in there. I think they came 2 in a box or something. I'll try to tag them. I know I got them on Amazon. I'll try to tag them in the link description below. But they're awesome. And you just push it down and it'll pop back out. Alright guys, we'll see you back when it is time to reveal our final table. I'll see you then.